What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Ahsoka Episode 8. Before we get into that, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, before we get into it, this episode, I will not be going through the plot like I do in other episodes, just going through every little piece. I'm trying to get this one out a little bit earlier, so we're just going to be talking about the spoiler-free stuff to begin with, and then in the spoiler section, I'm just going to be talking about, like, the big highlights that I really want to talk about in the spoiler section. So, the name of the episode again is Ahsoka. This is Episode 8. Titled The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. This episode premiered on October 3rd, 2023. This streams on Disney+. It was directed by Rick Famuyiga. It's written by Dave Filoni, and the cast includes Rosario Dawson, Natasha Lee Bordizzo, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Ray Stevenson, Ivana Sacno, Diana Lee Inosanto, David Tennant, Lars Mikkelsen, Iman Isfandi, and this has a runtime of 46 minutes. Now, this is the last episode, guys. Here's where we're going to have our big fight of the season. That's the main plot of what's going to happen. I'm not really going to go through, like, the little details, like, oh, what's the main plot and stuff. But this is the main thing. This is what we've been looking for. Are they going to be able to stop Thrawn from getting back to the other galaxy? Okay, so, again, we'll start off with spoiler-free. The good, again, more cool action. Like, wow. This action this week even made last week's look like not even that cool. And seeing Thrawn come up with the ideas that he comes up with, like, there's something we have to talk about later, but it was just like, did they really do that? And yeah, so, and then seeing Sabine, Ahsoka, and Ezra working together in this fashion. Like, we saw them together at the end of the last episode, but this time it was like, oh, okay, now we're putting them all together, putting all the pieces together, what they're all good at, and things like that. I really enjoyed what we saw here. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then another cool thing is the results of the final battle were interesting. I'm not going to spoil it here, but it was not what I expected, but I actually thought I liked it more than what I was expecting. I like it when people do something that's even cooler than I can put it in my head, and I was like, you know what, that worked really well. It was not the safe route, and I think in my head I was going a very safe route, and they decided, no, we're not going to go that way. And the witches do some cool stuff in this episode. And this is how you end a season, in my opinion. I'm really invested and hopeful for season 2. I'm like, I can't wait for this to come out. This is completely different from some other shows. Some other shows, sometimes I'm like, you guys should just stop where you're at. Don't come back. Just end it like you did. You left it on a high. Like, for instance, Ted Lasso. I didn't fully love season 3 of Ted Lasso, but I did like how they ended it. And I'm like, you can't outdo that ending, so just go with that ending. And here I was like, you guys can still do way more, even with that ending. And I'm like, I want to see what you're going to do next. So yeah, that's the good. Let's talk about the bad. So the boss fight in this episode, I wish I liked it more, but I didn't. I was just like, it felt like it was just something to do, and it just didn't work for me. And then there's some forced stuff that I want to talk about in the spoiler section that I'm just like, no. I was just like, it just didn't work for me. But other than that, I thought this was a really solid episode. Let's actually move on to my score, guys. So I'm actually going to give this episode an 8 out of 10 for great. I would give it a 9, but I feel like that's my bias really hitting home, that I'm like, no, I think this was an 8. It was really good. I liked a lot of the action, things like that. But I think this was an 8 in my mind, so I'm like, I'm not going to go any higher than that. But I definitely recommend you go watch this. This show, I want to just binge it again, honestly. Just from start to finish, see everything. Maybe I missed some stuff here and there. But yeah, guys, I definitely recommend you go watch this. So I'm going to move into the spoiler section, guys. We'll talk about some stuff here and there in the spoiler section. Like I said, I'm not doing the whole plot. So let me give you guys a warning for those that are going to join us for that. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, guys, welcome into the spoiler section. So first off, Ezra getting home. That's pretty wholesome. That's like, oh, yeah, he's been stuck over there for so long. I'm glad Ezra's home. I will say, part of me wonders, because that journey's not super quick to get back over. Thrawn and them never figured out he was over there with them when they were on their way back. So a part of me, and I hope I'm wrong, is wondering, what are the chances that Ezra's turned to the dark side? I don't think he did. But I feel like in the back of my mind, I have this doubt, and it's like, I shouldn't have that doubt, but I do. Just because of, it felt like there was stuff they could have shown there of like, oh, how did Ezra even get off that ship? All this other stuff. I was like, Because even if he gets off the ship and he has that Imperial shuttle, no one's going to shoot him down while he had that? I was just like, some of the stuff just didn't add up fully to me. That I was just like, maybe Ezra has turned, but I don't think so, but I have a little doubt. And Thrawn did it. He beat Ahsoka. He didn't have to kill her or anything like that, but this is what I think was cool about Thrawn compared to other characters. Most characters, when they're like fighting their enemy, they're like, no, I need to kill my enemy. No, Thrawn's objective was never that he has to beat Ahsoka. He just, I mean, not that he has to like win in a one-on-one fight with her. It's like, I just need to get back home. If I get back over there, it doesn't matter what Ahsoka does. Even Ahsoka goes back with him and somehow he still gets away from her, he still wins. And it's just like, he had a better definition of winning. He didn't let his hubris get in front of him. And I was just like, this is why I like this character so much. Thrawn's definition of winning is very different than a lot of other villains in modern Star Wars or even anything. He's not about just like, oh, I need this for me. It's like, no, what's the best outcome? How can I, like, the strategy and everything about him. I love Thrawn. I was like, I'm glad this character's here. I'm glad they didn't kill him off. I'm just like, cool, we're going to get Thrawn in season 2, hopefully. And it's just like, I like what they're doing here. They can even use Thrawn in other shows if they decide to make other Star Wars shows in the meantime as well. Now, Sabine and Ahsoka getting stranded. I'm kind of feeling like they're going to... The reason I feel like they did that, and I had a feeling this was going to happen, was because Lord Balin is still over there, and so is Shin-Hati. And I'm just like, you kept those other 2 dark side users there for a reason, and I'm like, you wouldn't want Ahsoka, the show, to keep going with Ahsoka back in the normal galaxy while these 2 characters are just out here. Like, there's something about these 2 characters they want to do, and I'm really curious to see it. Lord Balin, to me, I'm like, I want to see what this character is going to do. And as I said in my last review in the spoiler section, I know the character lives, but Ray Stevenson isn't alive, and I'm like, this character is doing such great stuff. Even Ray Stevenson, for everything he did, I'm just like, we have to see what's next for this character. I feel like they owe it to him to show what his final role, what that character was meant to do. So I hope they recast it, and I hope for their sake, like, they make something really cool with this character. So I'm really invested in this character. I don't know what he is. I don't think he's a full dark side user, but he's not a Jedi either. He's somewhere in between, and I want to see what they're going to do with him. And then, like I said, I know Shin-Hati's over there as well. I knew she wasn't going to go back to Thrawn, because I was like, I don't think she wants to take orders from him. I think she's ready to lead. But her going with the bandits, I was like, you just saw the bandits also, like, get their asses handed to them, too. I'm not sure why she chose to go with them, either. Especially with Ahsoka. Well, in her mind, I think they're like, oh, well, I could beat Ahsoka, but no, you can't. So let's talk about something. Oh, let's talk about the witches and the zombies. So that was really cool, don't get me wrong. But one of my reasons for going with an 8 instead of a 9 had to do with the zombies. So was there no way to kill the zombies? Because they kept coming back, and even the way that they were walking at times, like, oh, then they're walking normal. Like, are they completely back to life? They didn't explain it well enough, in my opinion, that I was just like, I don't know what these zombies are. It's cool to see, but even, like, how they work, I was like, this doesn't feel consistent to me. So that was one of the reasons I was just like, yeah, you were a 9, but this kind of, like, even though it's a cool thing, it just felt like they threw a mulligan out there, and I was like, it just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me completely. It was cool, but the idea behind it, I was just like, you guys kind of just did this to try and be cool, not because this really made sense for what you were doing. But it was still cool to see. And again, Thrawn being steps ahead of people is like, oh, they beat them? I need more time. Use your magic powers to bring them up. But yeah, guys, I really enjoyed this episode. It was cool to see Anakin at the end, too. I was just like, oh, okay. I think this might be his send-off. Because that felt like, oh, Anakin's send-off. That might be it. He's giving Ahsoka everything she needs. We don't need Anakin again. I was like, if that's it, that's fine. Anakin, I think the season, he got his redemption that I think he really needed. But yeah, guys, I want to know what you guys thought about this show. I'm going to do a season 1 review, hopefully sometime next week. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Sorry for the delays with everything. But I really enjoyed this show. I want to know what other people thought about this show, because this has been one of the best Star Wars things ever, in my opinion. So I want to see how other people feel about it. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you later.